Just gonna do a quick mic test. Just gonna do a quick mic test. Am I quiet? Hang on. Maybe I was speaking quietly. Maybe I was speaking quietly. No, that sounds fine. Okay. Give me one quick second here, folks, and... There we go. We are good to go. So, howdy, Immortallium here, and today I'm going to be continuing on with Penny Blood Hellbound. We might finish it today. I'm kind of curious to see how this actually works, because now we've asked the 3 questions. So now we need to go and see what happens when you get to the end again, with that big entity or whatever. So I'll be curious to see how that works. I believe we've pretty much covered all we need to do at the hideout for the moment. Let me just double check. Like, we've been upgrading this stuff, but obviously we still need a lot of resources. I presume reloading the game doesn't change any of the stuff that your man here sells. Yeah.
You'll come again soon.
So yeah, we'd best... Oh, and I'm sure that I've done it already, but I just want to check
What do you
that in terms of this stuff. Yeah, we gave her a bunch of HP boosts, so that was good. We can't do any of those.
Farewell.
Okay, so having said all of that, let's go ahead and start the run.
Again.
You got it.
There we go, and yeah, we're just gonna go with number 1 difficulty. So anyway, so begins another run hunting for all of these like buffs and increases and stuff. So anyway, what's been going on in my life? Well, I think, was it last week that I was talking about? Or I can't remember when exactly I was talking about it. I was definitely talking about it here at one point, because I remember talking to your man about it. The Chemco reviews that I had to do. So I finally finished a game that I had to cover.
Not bad, I suppose.
And it wasn't very good, in my personal opinion. Now, it was nowhere near the worst that they've sent me. You could certainly do a lot worse. Yeah, let's just go with Malice Waste for the moment. Maybe I should have re-rolled, but I'd rather try re-rolling for the act boost. Anyway, finally got that game done. Yeah. It was called Alphadia 1+2, which, from what I can tell, it appears to be a remake of among their first 2 games. Like, according to Wikipedia, which I've heard that the Wikipedia page doesn't have necessarily correct information on it. It looked like Alphadia, the first Alphadia game, was the first mobile JRPG that they released. And, I mean, to some degree it shows. To some degree. Now, in the updated version, they did add a bunch of quality of life improvements to it. And I've got to acknowledge that they did add those, because, you know, those were quite helpful, alright. But, in the end, like, is it a good RPG? And the answer is no, not in my personal opinion. The storytelling is, like, not very good at all. The characters aren't interesting. The plot, for the most part, isn't interesting. And there's even some, like, weird bits later on where I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So, it's just, like, not super good play in my personal opinion. Now, as I said, it was more like I was bored playing it, and not a case of me actively hating it. Let's try re-rolling this. And one more re-roll. Let's try giving Darkstar to your man. But anyway, yeah, so like, there's some games I played from them that actively made me angry.
Now for a little
Whereas this one was just boring. So, you know, take what you will from that. Yeah, I think I've said before, haven't I, that of all of their games I've reviewed so far, which can't remember how many games I've had to cover from them. Maybe 7 or 8, if I had to guess. Like, there's only one that I would actually kind of recommend to people. And even then, it's kind of a lighthearted recommendation. Which is Meridian Tavern Story. That was kind of fun. It did get quite repetitive a bit because, you know, you had to grind. So basically with Meridian Tavern Story, the way it worked is like you're a person who's running this tavern. And you gotta go out and hunt for... Let's give that to you, man. Sorry for the distraction, folks. You gotta go out and hunt for ingredients for the food that you sell at the tavern. And that's quite a cool little, like, premise, you know? Quite fun in a way. It does get repetitive, because you gotta go out and, you know, hunt all these monsters and try to get resources from them, and, you know... You can understand, I think, how that might get repetitive after a while. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't bad. Like, I kind of enjoyed playing it, for the most part. There may have been a moment or two where I was like, I kind of wish I was playing something else, just because of how repetitive it got, but when I got to the end, I wasn't angry at all. In fact, I was kind of like, you know what, that wasn't too bad. It was like almost pleasantly surprised, in a way. Simply because it was literally the only Kemco RPG that I've so far enjoyed in some shape or form.
Not bad.
They released, I don't know if it's a sequel or not, well, like a spiritual successor or not, because like it came out after on PC. I know that for sure. Nice, that's good to get actually. But in terms of its original release, I don't know. But the Blacksmith of the Sand Kingdom, I think, is from the same company. It's a similar concept.
Now for a little
But the story and characters aren't as good. You don't get to explore a town at all. It's like kind of a little strange. It feels like a step back.
Not bad, I suppose.
So as usual. Okay, let's see how that went. What we get for this. Grants me a level 4 skill. Ooh. I like these blessings. I get that they're like a punishment for a while, but some of the buffs you get off them are pretty crazy.
Let's go.
I'll also be gathering money just because if I can get any resources from the shops, it would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, that's one thing I was doing recently. What was the other thing? I can't remember again if I talked about it on the stream or not. The fact that there was a game I was playing recently that I finished. Which game was that now? I actually can't remember. Like, I know I finished Deadly Premonition. That was a while ago. I'm definitely talking about that. Let's activate our special. We may as well.
Not bad, I suppose.
Okay, that was pretty good. I can't remember what it was I was playing. Oh god, I remember now what it was. Stray Blade. So yeah, I finished playing Stray Blade. I've spoken a bit about my thoughts on Stray Blade before. The kind of later parts of the game don't really change my opinion much on it. There was a really weird thing where I think the final boss of the game glitched out on me because he like hopped up into the air. And usually when he hopped up in the air, he does a slamming attack. He had about a third of his health left. And then like there was this weird pause where he should have come down, but he hadn't. And all of a sudden, like, suddenly it cuts to, like, the end of the battle. And I was like, what happened here? What I think happened was that I think he was supposed to fall like normal, but then for some reason he got stuck up there, and when he got stuck up there, he fell without, you know, like the iframes of whatever move he usually does, and I think he fell to his death. That's the impression I got from it. So yeah, just a glitchy game. I would be interested to see what if you know, like I am interested like to see how the studio could potentially improve on it, because you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a bad game. It's a glitchy game, and at points it feels cheap, but there are some interesting concepts in it. If they took the time to work a bit more on, like, you know, the various mechanics in the game, like tighten things up, make the combat feel more fluid, expand on some of these ideas that they have, fix some of the problems, etc., etc. I think there is potential there. I think they could make a really good game. They just need to take another crack at it and learn from their mistakes on Stray Blade. So yeah, not exactly an endorsement from them. Did I just get hit by something?
Not bad.
Don't know what I got hit by. Oh, we can finish off his shock chain. Does he have Malice Dagger? No, he has the spinning thing. Okay, so let's finish off his one. So he has a level 5 ability already in the first world, so that's good. Oh my, that's a lot of active abilities, potentially.
Let's go. Pick your poison, fellas.
Sorry, I had to laugh at that. Ah, okay, Blackheart, that would be good to get.
You're round, pal.
Okay, we gotta gather a lot of money
Now for a little
for this. So let's gather money and see if we can get to that. I think, did it say 700 there? I think it did. So anyway, yeah, Stray Blade. There was potential, but let's see in the future what they do, if they actually refine it. I don't know how it performed commercially. I got it as part of Humble. They did make a DLC, but again, we don't know, for instance, were they already in the process of making that DLC? Or was it a case that they were, that it did it well enough that they wanted to make the DLC? We don't know.
Not bad, I suppose.
I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, that isn't an organ. Even though it kind of looks like it from a distance. Almost there. Almost there. Yeah, and then I'm just kind of working through some of the other stuff.
Let's go.
I'm gonna play soon, actually, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I've never played it before, but just because of my general interest, it really interests me. Is a game called Planet Zoo. Like, I love animals. Like, just learning about them, learning how they, like, function in, like, our ecosystems, etc., etc. I just think just learning about their evolution, what they're most closely related to, that kind of stuff. So, I'm like, that could be really fun. That could be really fun to do. But I have heard that apparently there's some levels of complexity to the game in terms of, like, management and stuff. I'll be curious to see how that works. I don't have any of the DLC, just to say. I should probably head back now to your man, actually. Oh! Activated the ability. Okay, let me just quickly do this first.
Pick your poison, fella. Use it or lose it.
We needed that for something. I can't remember what, but we needed it for something. So I may as well pick it up. Plus, getting more resources in this kind of game isn't bad. But anyway, yeah, so like that. I don't have any of the DLC for that. This is a shame because there's some pretty awesome ones, awesome animals as part of the DLC. One of my favorite. Who got my throat? One of my favorite animals ever is the capybara. But that's in a DLC, so it's not going to be in the base game. Which I think is a bit of a shame, but, you know, what can you do?
Again.
Pretty nice, pretty nice. Did that last a bit longer? I think it did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what other animals are in, like, the base game of it.
Not bad, I suppose.
From what I could tell, one thing I remember thinking of when, no, I don't want that first one. Ecstasy gauge to increase by itself. I'd rather take the money right now. But, say about that. But I did notice, and I think I've seen other people give some criticism to this as well, is that it looks like there's a bit of a lack of birds as part of the zoo. Like the number of birds that you can actually put in. Which is, you know, a bit of a shame, of course. Now, myself, I found myself kind of more fascinated by the mammals in general. Like mammals in general, just like in terms of like the types of mammals and how they evolved and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm not quite as bothered about that as some people might be, but, you know, I do think having a good variety of them would be nice to have in the game. Like, having lots of mammals is good, but also include, like, loads of reptiles, loads of birds, amphibians, fish, insects, all that good stuff.
Let's go.
Crustaceans. I don't know if there's any crustaceans in the game. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Now, maybe I'll, like, I don't know if, you know, maybe I'll finish the experience and I'll be like, it's not quite what I was looking for, but, you know, it looks like it's something that I could very much enjoy, so. And I did enjoy, was there a previous game, Planet Coaster? I did enjoy playing that, so. I don't know, actually, with the management stuff, like, how different it is to that game. Like, if it's similar at all, then I probably won't have any trouble, like, adjusting
Not bad,
to it.
I suppose.
I'm also curious about, here we go, Malice Grinder, I'll take that. I'm also curious about the habitats, about, like, mixing animals together and stuff.
Now.
It sounds really fun, but I'm just wondering from a mechanics perspective how that works. There we go. Oh, okay, well, took a bit of damage, but not much, so that's good. Okay, here we go. So let's activate our special. Very nice, very nice. Ah, so close to getting it to 100.
Bad, I suppose.
But yeah, that could be cool. What else has been happening in my life? Well, I'm still working on the garden, trying to get it more biodiverse.
Now.
Right now we've put in, like the main thing we've been working on recently is more plants for pollinators. Like bees and not birds. Bees and butterflies and stuff like that. Crap. Okay, here we go. But it's because here's the thing. I kind of like when I'm talking about biodiversity. I'm not a biodiversity expert. I want to start off by saying that, but I've looked into it a bunch, and kind of the kind of opinion that I've gotten so far is to kind of start from the ground up, like build the basis for life and then introduce life or include life. Like, what I mean by that is a lot of animals rely very heavily on invertebrates. Like, for, like, breaking down waste, like, composition, and also with regards to, just, like, feeding animals. Because there's a lot of animals, a lot of small animals that are insectivores, eating insects and, you know, other, like, invertebrates. And then they themselves serve as, like, food for, like, larger animals and stuff. So it works up like a chain. It's the food pyramid of the animal kingdom, essentially. Invertebrates tend to be at the bottom. So I'm like, let's try to increase the amount of invertebrates in the garden. And once I've got that kind of sorted out, that's when I'll try to, like, start getting, like, some of the larger animals to show up in the garden. I got hit there, really? But yeah, so that's something else I've been working on. I really love to make a pond at some point. That'd be good for multiple reasons. For one, there are some invertebrates that are, like, drawn to ponds, so that would also be really good. But then also we'd have the chance of, like, attracting some vertebrates to the pond as well.
Not bad, I suppose.
The birds, maybe. Like, the birds would, like, land and, like, do their little, like, baths. Use the water for bathing. If we're really lucky, maybe we get an amphibian to show up.
Now for a little rampage.
In the area I'm living in, there isn't too much water. There is a river, kind of, maybe a kilometer or two away. But, you know, it's a bit away. And one time, I remember one time, it was like a rainstorm. And I can't remember why I was outside in a rainstorm. But I saw this little frog by, like, one of our bushes. I was like, oh, it's a frog. Never seen one around here before. Now, I don't know what happened to that frog. Hopefully it found its way back to some kind of body of water. But why not have frogs in the garden? You know? Plus, I also heard that apparently, if you have frogs in the garden, they help keep your the slug population under control. And that's something that I know of a few people nearby that would be like, they'd love that. They'd love, like, to have the frogs working down the slugs. It's the shuriken for him. Okay, so not that. Okay, we've still got a bunch of active abilities to eventually get.
Now,
Let me take a look at this.
your poison, fellas.
That's the shock chain, which we no longer could get Ground Slammer, but probably gonna end up replacing it if I do.
You're round, pal.
I don't really want to take
Let's go.
damage, so I don't know how much, if I get my money's worth from Minda. Go on. Survive. Okay, that's easy. I always win these. But yeah, I just think that would be kind of neat. Because as I've spoken about recently on Victor Chief Gaming, it was during one of our Puyo Puyo episodes, I'm pretty sure. I was talking about how messed up Ireland's ecosystem is. Like, the amount of damage humans have done to Ireland's environment is kind of insane. And we need to start taking steps to, like, you know, fix some of our issues. And the thing is, there's only so much one can do in terms of their own personal garden.
Not bad, I suppose.
Like, some of the larger animals, you're just not going to, you're just not going to help that much via the garden. Indirectly. But, like, you're not going to attract them to the garden, I guess is what I mean.
Now,
Maybe they'll have a slightly more prey to deal with, due to the prey using my garden as a habitat. But yeah. I would really love to see more, because I've hardly seen any. Then again, maybe there's some situations where I weren't aware they were there. But, you know, wildlife crossings and stuff. Like, I would love to see more wildlife crossings in Ireland. To just reduce the amount of, like, roadkill there is, to allow more animals to, like, travel from place to place. Perhaps, you know, for the purposes of finding new prey, new food, mating, all that kind of stuff. Like, reducing habitat fragmentation, I believe that's the term. Because I don't know how much of that we have. I've hardly ever seen it. Oh my god, so much shock chain. I just can't do anything with it because he's already maxed out his shock chain. But yeah, so that's something I would really like to see more of. There's more animals thriving. Then we get into the whole reintroduction debate. Like, for those who aren't aware, like, Ireland is very much known for its farming culture. And even though I would say, like, obviously as a percentage of our industry, and certainly our economy, it's gone down over time, there's still a very large, you know, sway of the population that are farmers, you know? It's quite an important industry for Ireland in many ways. But farming often brings problems with regards to like predatory animals. And you see that everywhere.
Not bad.
Like, for instance, I was kind of blown away to learn that in Australia they have what's called, like, I think, is it called the Great Dingo Fence? Or the Great Dingo Barrier or something like that? Finally got Deadly Rain. Well, basically it's this gigantic line, like fence, whose whole purpose is to keep dingoes from getting to where the farmers are and their livestock. And, like, from a logical perspective, I get why they did that, but from an ecological perspective, that's not actually that good. I feel like I'm not doing that much damage to my skills just yet, but then again, they are only level 1 and level 2. Oh. Crap. Okay, well, I'll just take that damage. But anyway, with regards to species reintroduction, like, we have a major issue at the moment with deer. Because we basically have no predators in Ireland that are capable of, like, keeping deer populations under control. And so there's been discussions in the past of bringing back, like, the wolf, for instance, or the lynx, because they used to live in Ireland. And bringing them back would be obviously very good in terms of, like, keeping deer population under control, as well as just... Hang on now. There we go, very nice, very nice. And all that stuff, yeah. But obviously the farmers, they're not happy with the idea of wolves and lynxes coming back, because, you know, among the various things they could attack, that could include livestock. Yeah. And I get that, but if we don't have any, like, prominent predators, then the problem... The problem is that just a lot of, like, animal species are left uncontrolled. I also think, although I haven't heard this explicitly stated, that having, like, more predators would help keep introduced species under control. Or invasive species, I should say. Like, we've already seen an example of that with regards to the squirrels in Ireland. Like, I don't know how many of you people know this, but in Ireland and in Britain, we've had a major issue with regards to the grey squirrel invading. Because our native squirrel is actually the red squirrel. But the grey squirrel has some advantages that help it, like, to compete and even, like, you know, like, outcompete red squirrels. And so, like, they're heavier, for one, these grey squirrels. So they're gonna, like, beat their, beat a red squirrel if they ever get into, like, conflict with it. Not that that's too often. But they are able to, like, gather more food, and it's harder for the red squirrels to gather food. You know, all that kind of stuff. So... Sorry, I'm just yawning a lot. Actually, there is a bit of a story behind that, but we can go over that in a little bit. Not bad damage. Hang on, let me hit this guy. Oh, really? Then a second one. But, and then there's the idea of species introduction as well. Which, again, controversial. I mean, that one isn't just controversial in Ireland, that's controversial the world over. Because, you know, a lot of problems that the world has ecologically is to do with humans introducing, like, non-native species into certain environments.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm thinking of Australia when I think of that. I'm thinking of the cane toad. How much damage humans did to Australia just by introducing cane toads. Let alone some of the other species, such as foxes and rabbits. Like, those have also done huge damage in Australia. It should be... There we go.
Impossible.
But for instance, there's been some discussions, you know, not quite as prominent as in, you know, as with regards to wolves and lynxes.
Not bad, I suppose.
Of potentially, you know, like introducing the beaver here. Because, you know, in Britain, the beaver is a native animal that has been reintroduced. But apparently there's no evidence that beavers have ever been in Ireland. So if they were put into Ireland, it would be considered an introduction rather than a reintroduction. But there's a lot of discussion that could potentially, like, they could potentially help the ecosystem a lot. Like through their use of making dams, enriching the water, all that kind of thing.
Not bad.
So yeah, it's just all very interesting stuff. Now, would we ever get to the point where we could reintroduce a bear to Ireland? And the answer is, I don't know. It's unlikely, at least in the near future. Again, you'd want to work from the ground up. What are my options here? I'm gonna go for
Let's
actives.
go.
But if in order to have a bear in Ireland survive, you need to make sure that it has enough food, for one. But also, I guess the more critical thing, and the thing that's probably makes it most difficult to have them in Ireland, is living space. Just like having like areas that they can like roam and, you know, prowl and not encounter like humans. As hard as it is to imagine sometimes, that might be actually very hard for them to do. Ooh. Like you get level 2 mouse grinder. I'm gonna focus on Deadly Range because Deadly Rain is the better ability. In my personal opinion. I like it more, is maybe how I should phrase it.
Let's go.
But yeah, they would have to do a lot. They'd have to have a huge area for the bears. They'd have to make sure that there's enough stuff for the bears to eat and consume. There's just a lot that would have to go into it. Yeah, it'd certainly be interesting though.
Again.
Another one that I'm not 100% sure of why they haven't reintroduced it is the boar. Like, there used to be a wild boar in Ireland, and now there's not. And they haven't attempted to reintroduce them. I'm trying to remember why that's the case. Is it a case that they wouldn't have any native predators or something? Oh, but going back to the squirrels. Sorry, my brain wandered off. Also, actually, just before I go on further, if people are noticing that I'm tired, there's a reason for that, and that's because Ireland's just had the time change, the daylight savings time change. I've never handled those very well, so I'm just very tired. So you know, if I seem like lethargic, if I lose my train of thought, etc., please stop. Then you know, that's the reason why. But anyway, back to the squirrels. So anyway, so the grey squirrels have taken over a lot of... In England, I think they've actually pretty much wiped out the red squirrels. And in Ireland, like basically the whole east coast area of Ireland has been taken over by grey squirrels. But grey squirrels are struggling more here than in Britain, and, well, England at least specifically. And do you know why? I'll give you a second to think about it while I take another drink. So the reason is that a predator of the grey squirrels, well, it's not specifically for the grey squirrels, but the grey squirrels can't handle this predator, has grown in numbers recently in Ireland. And the answer is that it's the European pine marten. So, apparently in Ireland they were hunted to near extinction, but they were protected, I think they said in the 70s. And now their population is on the rise, and turns out grey squirrels just can't handle those European pine martens. The European pine martens are aggressive, they're strong. They are also good climbers. There's just a lot about them that... Here we go. That the grey squirrels can't handle about them. And the red squirrels, because they've lived for thousands of years alongside these pine martens, they know what to do if they smell a pine marten. They know, like, get out. Get away. Okay, one sec.
Not bad.
So yeah, so that's very interesting. And I think that's a good sign of how effective having these native predators are on the ecosystem. These pine martens are almost single-handedly saving the red squirrels in Ireland.
Let's go.
Which is good. Okay, let's get rid of you. Let's activate our special. Very nice, very nice.
Not bad, I suppose.
Very good. Here we go, detonating dodge. We want one of these. That's good. That's very good.
Now for a little.
We're gonna get a chance to check out the shop now. Once I get this done, of course. So yeah, I think it's a discussion that's worth having, but a lot of people just don't even bother to talk about it. I'm like, come on, let's talk about it, folks. Let's see how we can help fix the environment together. At least when it comes to the ecosystem.
Not bad, I suppose.
Okay, let's see what's in the shop now. Probably shouldn't be doing just actually swinging the chair back and forth.
Let's go. Pick your poison, fellas.
Skill is... Hang on, I'm trying to remember, is skill the passive? Or is it the active? Can't remember. It's probably both, actually, isn't it? Okay, we'll take one of these.
Or lose it, pal. Use it
And
or
we'll buy
lose
one
it
of those.
now. You're round, pal.
Actually, folks, I'm just going to take a quick intermission. I know it's a little early to be doing an intermission, but there's just a quick job I've got to do. So I'll be back in one moment. Here we go, I'm back. So give me one quick second. Just to make sure we are all set up here. Good. Okay, so. I can't even remember now what I was talking about.
Let's go.
If nothing else, though, I want to get more of these passives. It looks like I have a ton to go through here. So, anything else going on in my life at the moment? I mean, I have a few ideas on things, but nothing that I want to make public right now. So, I guess not really. Here's a thing, actually, that I saw recently. So, because I was thinking about the fact that this is a spin-off of a Kickstarter game. And the fact that they're still struggling to find publishers and all that kind of stuff. So, that reminded me of another game. Another kind of JRPG that got funded through Kickstarter. That being Eiyuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes. And I haven't played that game yet, even though I was the original Kickstarter backer. Because I was like, I know they're gonna have DLC. We definitely want this. We're taking that. We've seen how much damage that can do. It's actually insane. But I was like, I'll wait until the DLC all comes out, and then maybe I'll, you know, give it a shot. Shouldn't have done that. Should have gone for the passive, but whatever. Doesn't matter really. But yeah. So that was my plan originally. So I saw recently that they've actually started releasing the DLC for that, and I wasn't exactly sure what type of DLC it would be. I mean, I had my suspicions. That would be kind of like a chapter-based thing rather than something integrated into the main story. But I was still curious. I had a lot of questions about it. From what I can tell, I had to see that something I set up recently is working. Hang on now. Anyway, where was I at? But yeah, so apparently the DLC, not that good. A lot of people are very disappointed in it. So far, at least.
Not bad, I suppose.
And... not these. Oh, I could have re-rolled. Well, whatever. Always weird to me when her little ability occurs. But
Now for a little rampage.
but yeah, with regards, so it also brings up another interesting question. And for some people this will be good, and for some people this will be bad. But like, there's no achievements as part of this DLC, and that brings up an interesting question because, you know, the question is, should DLC have achievements associated with them? And for a lot of companies, the answer is yes, they should. But I can also see the advantage of not having DLC. Sorry, not having achievements in DLC. Because, for instance, let's take an example here. So I just talked about how I finished Stray Blade recently.
Not bad, I suppose.
And you know, it's a medium-ish sized game. I actually got all of the base achievements. Let's re-roll this one. No luck, no luck. But anyway, so yeah, so oh wait, what? Oh yeah. But so I got all the achievements in Stray Blade, at least the base game. But remember, I said there was a DLC for it, and that DLC apparently added 6 achievements. And the thing is, with regards to that, like, I'm not going to be picking up the DLC. Like, it was an okay game, at best. to start with. And like the DLC never seems to have been discounted that heavily either. So what it just means is that now I've got a game that I've gotten most of the achievements in, but I can't get the last 6 unless I buy this DLC that I don't really want. You know? A little bit annoying from that perspective, but what can you do? Like, DLC as a concept is just kind of interesting to me because DLC is such a spectrum. Like, it can refer to, like, these insanely gigantic expansion packs, essentially. Or it can refer to just, like, these teeny-weeny little, like, experiences. Like, to take a few examples. So, like, for instance, we saw that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree got nominated at the Game Awards for Game of the Year. There's a lot of controversy about that because, you know, it's a DLC being nominated for Game of the Year. A game that, as far as I can tell, yeah, I mean, it definitely is the case. With Shadow of the Erdtree, you can't play it unless you have the base game. Or even, like, you can't play it until you've gotten to a very specific point. An optional point as well.
Now,
So,
little rampage.
that, like, it's very much tied to the main game. But, you know, it is, for, like, a DLC, a remarkable, like, product. Like, it's huge. And what's more, there's quality behind a lot of these, this content that's in it. Like, this isn't content for the sake of content. This is actual, some good stuff. Oh my, okay, he's going back and forth a bit more than I expected. So, I mean, you have stuff like that. Also, like, I haven't played Cyberpunk yet, but I heard that that's basically the same thing with Phantom Liberty. Like, it's this massive, gigantic expansion pack that introduces so much high-quality content to the game. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the... Yeah, there we go. Failed. Shame, but what can you do?
Not bad, I suppose.
More detonating dodge. That'd be good. But, so you have that kind of stuff. Then you have the DLC that is, like, you know, relatively small. Like, again, I haven't played any of them, but if we're in the topics of Souls-likes, there's a game that I did play. I haven't played any of its DLC for the same reason as Stray Blade. But it's called Code Vein. It's basically anime Dark Souls. I know that's how everyone introduces it. To be fair, that is pretty much what it is. Best description for it. Although it does do some interesting stuff. Again, that was a game where I was like, as I was playing through it, I was like, if they made a sequel, they could improve this. If they made a sequel, they could improve that. You know? Which isn't necessarily the best thing to be thinking of with the game you're currently playing, but that is how I was thinking of it. It was just a lot of... I could see a lot of potential for improvement. But I didn't think it was particularly stellar, the game as it was. But that had DLC released. 3 of them, I think. And from what I can tell, they're very short, which is why a lot of people were very unhappy about the DLC. Like, I think they were like, a bunch of them only have like one boss. You can get most of the DLC done in like an hour. And in that case, it's like, well, you know, it's not particularly good value. Regardless of the quality of the content. Now, maybe if you did enough quality, maybe eventually you could get it. But even then, I heard like they weren't that great quality either. So yeah, the Code Vein DLC is a good example, I think, of one where it's a very lackluster DLC. And then you get onto other DLC. Stuff like cosmetics. I mean, you see it all the time with with what's it called? Like stuff like Monster Hunter, stuff like a lot of the Koei Tecmo games. A lot of Japanese games have like Tales games, I think, for instance, have a lot of like costume DLC that don't change the gameplay experience, but you know you can dress your characters up in pretty costumes, and you know that is DLC. Very infamously, horse armor. Anyone remember that with Oblivion? I mean, that's the exact same concept, really. It's like a cosmetic change you have to pay money for. And... hang on. Okay, well that guy is not gonna... So I feel like there needs to be a greater, like, a more granular description when it comes to DLC. Like people need to be able to categorize them to different tiers, I think. I think it would help a lot with expectations, with just like letting people know what they're getting with the experience.
Not bad, I suppose.
I think DLC is so varied right now that you really need you need more terms to actually for people to understand what it is to expect. Like, expansion, I'm super happy with that term, because, you know, when I was younger, that was, you know, the term, like, expansion pack. So I could imagine, like, the really big ones, like Shadow the Earth Tree or Phantom Liberty, being, like, expansion packs. That seems logical to me. But, there should be, like, some other term for, like, the really small ones. The ones that you should expect an hour of content, or in Eiyuden Chronicles case, like, I think, again, each DLC is considered an hour long, from what I could understand at least. Again, I haven't actually played them yet. As someone who backed the project originally, I do get them for free, which is nice. But even so, you know, they're still very basic from what I've heard. And at least with one of them, I also heard that it didn't really, like, add much to the character was telling the story about. There was a lot of information that was already kind of in the game already. So... and then, like, literally, you have the word microtransaction for that other stuff. And I think, like, that kind of stuff, like the costume stuff, the horse armor as a good example, like something that's cosmetic and relatively cheap should be literally called a microtransaction. I think it shouldn't be called a DLC. I don't think it should be categorized with DLC. I think it should just be called a microtransaction. Because again, I think that would set better expectations. It would also mean that companies would have to deal with the stigma of those terms. Like, obviously a lot of people don't like the word microtransaction. It has a lot of very negative connotations. So then they'd have to, like, make it, like, work harder to make it so that it's appealing to people. Improve the quality of the costumes, maybe do some events like, I'm thinking of, like, with, you know, some, like, live service games, they do, like, you know, collabs with charities for some of their stuff. Like, that could be good as well. Here we go. Good stuff, and I don't think the, there's any, like, yeah, organs or anything. I would really love to unlock more passive slots. Is this our 9th session of this game? I still only have 3.
Now for a little
I feel like I'm missing something when it comes to, like, the resource gathering. Like, there must be an easier way to... Like, maybe the butcher guy is the easier way, but... even then... Yeah, like, what do you guys think about all that with regards to DLC? Like, I think there should be a different name for different types of DLC. I just think there'd be a lot of improvements for both the consumer and for the companies themselves to just set expectation. There we go, got to 100
Not
there.
bad, I suppose.
They really want me to go with that Raging Recovery. Because, like, I think
Now, for a
something
royal
like
meal.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree should potentially be allowed to be in Game of the Year if it's good enough. Of course, the ideal situation would just be to have, like, best DLC, you know, category. I can't remember if they do. I don't think they do, right? And I think I remember them saying something like that they were concerned that not enough good DLC comes out that it could fill up a whole category. I think that says something. If you think about the amount of DLC that comes out in the year, and they're concerned like, oh, we don't think enough of this stuff will be good enough to actually be worth putting into a category. It's like, that already says something that they think that a lot of DLC just aren't high quality. Perhaps they're just exploitative. You know?
Let's go.
I think these might be the last two here. I should try to get rid of this guy. There we go. There we go. We're getting a lot of golden eyes, so that's something.
Not bad, I suppose.
Oh god, sorry, I am actually very tired, folks. I kind of felt it just kind of hit me there.
Let's go.
So, yeah, it's just a case that I'm feeling a little tired. If I'm a little not communicative, it's because of the time change. Apparently, my parents were telling me that when I was younger, when I was like a little kid, apparently when the time change would happen, I would stop eating. And it would take me a while to actually get back to eating food. But like, I would actually go several days without food because I just refused to eat because of the time change. And that's kind of fascinating to me. Like, I don't remember it at all. Maybe it was before, like, my memory settled in. But apparently I just absolutely
Not bad,
Absolutely hated
I
it.
suppose.
Which is understandable. After all, I have Asperger's syndrome. Consistency is something that I really like. And so having it be inconsistent and, you know, changing the time so that you have to go to bed either earlier or later, get up earlier or later. You know, I think it's understandable why I would have a problem with that. Okay, we should be pretty much close to first phase.
The forest.
There we go.
Wicker Man. Mother
Wrap.
Nature.
Doing a good amount of damage.
This is nature's retribution.
Oh, good God. Hang on, I've actually... Oh, there she is. For a moment, I couldn't keep track of where she was. There we go, got her finally.
Wicked man.
Is it also me, or have I not been getting those little allies for a while as well?
Not bad, I suppose.
No, those little dudes that you can find in like the in the dungeons. NPCs. I feel like I haven't seen one in a while. I don't think we got any last week, right? But yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the time change? You know, I mean, for Americans, you guys have been dealing with this time change since, is it 3 weeks ago or something?
Not bad, I suppose.
So, like, how did you guys handle that? Must also be kind of a little confusing because not everywhere in America, certainly not everywhere in North America, follows daylight savings. So it must be particularly weird to have to communicate with those people because,
Now for a little
like,
rampage.
to you, time has changed. To them, time has not. Okay, I need you to calm down, buddy. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but... Okay, I don't see any
Not bad, I
organs.
suppose.
There isn't really that much blood north of the bridge, so... There we go. So wait, what was I talking about there? Yeah, it is time change and stuff.
Now for a little
Obviously, I handle it
rampage.
better now that I'm older. It's still kind of rough on me, though. But apparently that isn't exclusive to me. A lot of people find it rough, which is why a lot of people are disappointed that we're still following it. Apparently, at one point, the EU was planning to get rid of it. But since then, they just haven't gotten around to it.
Not bad, I suppose.
So yeah, time change. And some of them is stuff like I'm just absolutely flabbergasted about. Here we go, fantastic. Like, was it like 2 years ago, Egypt actually reintroduced daylight savings? When the grand trend has been to remove it, they reintroduced it. So it's just strange. It's a strange thing. And certainly it plays havoc with my sleep schedule. Yeah, like, to be completely honest, if it wasn't for the fact that I can't, like, leave this dungeon, I can't, like, suspend my run, I would probably have an early end to the stream. But because I can't, I'm gonna have to keep persevering. Not that this game isn't fun, you know?
Now for a
It is
little
quite fun,
rampage.
although there are certain aspects of it that I'm not as enthused about. I will discuss them more prominently, I think, in the future once I've actually completed the game. Okay, I couldn't see the ring on the ground. Let's try this.
Again.
Yeah, I suspect I'll at least get rid of that guy over there. Yeah, see? So, yeah, that's just the kind of stuff that's going on in my life right now.
Now for a
Pick your
little
poison, fellas.
rampage.
We'll buy this.
Or lose it, pal.
The other stuff I don't really need.
See you around, pal. Let's go.
I want to at least look at these question marks. See what's there. Of course, as soon as I use my ability, it moves away. Very nice. Anything else exciting in life? We think one of our cats is pregnant again. So that'll be interesting. Vil, again. She's the only one who seems to ever get pregnant out there. And as usual, we have no real clue as to who the daddy is. I mean, the previous litter she had, because of the way the fur was done on, the way it was done, the way the fur was on the
Now for a little rampage.
on one of the kittens, we have a suspicion of who the father might be. But we're just purely going off of that. That could be completely wrong as well. Very nice, very nice. Actually, another thing I guess I can talk about is me on social media.
Not bad, I suppose.
So, I've always been quite a reserved person. I guess that sounds a little bizarre given a lot of what I do. But I am. It's like I don't often speak my mind unless I feel very strongly about it,
Let's
or
go.
or I feel like that I need to. So what it meant was that my Twitter, for instance, was basically just becoming like, check out my stream here, check out this video that's dropped here, you know, that kind of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, it might be nicer if we could again, I just 323, that's not bad.
Not bad, I suppose.
Level 5 bomb, that's good. And you still need some of those cyclones.
Now for a little rampage.
Yes, I'm gonna try to go a little faster on this stage. I'm gonna look at these two other question marks and then I'm gonna go back and fight the boss, I think. I'm definitely getting some, I think they call those micro sleeps or whatever. Where you're so tired that for like a mere moment, you fall asleep.
Not
And it's
bad,
just
I
affecting like my reflexes and my ability to be able to dodge. Let me actually just stretch. Maybe that'll help a bit. Well, how that looked, huh?
Now for a little
I don't know why, but I feel like whenever I do that, whenever I do a stretch like that, like a really big stretch, I get this scent of like, you know the smell of a swimming pool that's been cleaned, which I think is chlorine? I get that smell. I'm not exactly sure why. Very nice, very nice.
Not bad, I suppose.
Nah. They're giving me so much of the harvest one, despite now not wanting to have it at all.
Now for a little rampage.
Oh, good God. That must have been one of the barrels. Stop doing that, please. I do like that once their armor's gone, they basically have no health. Good old, time change.
Not bad, I suppose.
I'll take that. I wonder how my eyes look, actually. Just before I help this lovely gentleman, actually, I want to just take a look at my image and just see what I look like. I don't know how noticeable that is. Okay, that's fine.
Now for a little rampage.
There we go.
Now this is
Now,
beauty.
is this someone new? I'm trying to remember, have we come across this fella before? I don't think so, right? Dosetsu? Okay, in that case I need to give him a voice. He looks like a magician. Mo-ho-ho-ho! Perfect, 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 perfect. Enough already. What do you want, mister? I am Dosetsu Igarashi, the greatest fiend in all of Japan. While some in the land claim to already own this title, make no mistake, the most perverse lover of aesthetic beauty and modern eroticism is without a doubt me, Dosetsu Igarashi. Okay, I think we're done here. Shall we go? My thoughts exactly.
Poppycock.
Wait, I'm not about to let a refined radiant body slip through my fingers. I just read the last sentence. Okay. You clearly have a form worth tying up, young lady. Let me tie you up, just once even. In return, I vow to use my Kinbaku arts to wipe the floor with the Crimson Shaman's pesky minions. What? Now you're just making stuff up. Oh? Unfamiliar with the most venerable of Japan's traditional performance arts, are you? Then let's treat this as a chance to deepen your
Now
knowledge.
this is true beauty.
Okay, what's that term? There's a term for what he's discussing. Is it shibari? Hang on, I'm actually gonna quickly look this up. Yeah, Japanese bondage, yeah. And basically they're like tied up and suspended from the air and stuff. That's what he's talking about. What? Are you out of mind? Kinbaku has the power to dispel darkness from the heart, and some even claim that can provide benefits to one's posture and alleviate muscular stiffness. In other words, if we let you tie up Clara once, you'll help us clean up the grunts. Seems like a good enough deal to me. What does our leader think? Let her decide for herself. Can't help but notice how both of them seem oddly unfaithful. What should I do? I'll try entering once. Well, I suppose anything's worth a try once. If you're really gonna help us out, then sure. What exactly do I need to do again? Just stand up straight, relax, put your hands behind your back, and I'll handle everything else, my dear. Okay, so, like this? The smack I'm hearing. Okay, at least there's that. So yeah, she's been tied up, and she's being suspended from the ground. I think if I recall correctly hearing about it, there's a red rope involved, which I think he mentioned red rope, so... Weird. The ropes are getting tighter, but it doesn't hurt. Oh, now I'm off the ground. Embraced in my ropes. Your radiant body is now utterly at my mercy, and thus I shall imprint on you the true wonders of Kinbaku. A reverse shrimp curve into upside down. Oh, upside down suspension. Okay, that's not great. Tenkai! Ah! The beauty and unexpected flexibility of Clara's body left every last Hellhounder speechless. And so Dosetsu joined the party with a wide grin on his face.
Let the taming begin.
Great. Was not having to... I did not know I was going to have to talk about that today. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Oh, sorry, wrong button. So I don't know what he does exactly. This NPC, is he just a damage dealer or does he have support abilities?
Not bad, I suppose.
I think the only one we need now is the Shuriken.
Let's go.
So, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing in Japan. Now, it's usually, from what I'm aware, again, it's not as if I've, like, studied this intensely, it's just something I've come across, in, like, some media. I think it often has a sexual connotation on it, but by no means is it necessarily sexual. It just happens that, you know, in a lot of cases, it's used for sexual purposes. But it could just be purely for art, like, you know, just regular, just non-sexual purposes as well. So it's just interesting.
Not bad, I suppose.
So weird to encounter it in this game. Okay, let's see what this last question mark is. Okay, we'll do this because we want to get more of those spirit fragments. Okay. probably being a bit too quiet now, but there's a little bit of focus going on. As I've mentioned several times over, I'm pretty tired. I do wonder, are we going to get to the end of this today? I always love how her animation stops the moment I hit A to go through that. It'd be nice to get that last link, but I'm not bothering.
Now, for a little
I want to try moving a little quicker. Oh, he can stagger her. Or stun her. That's good. Good damage output so far.
Leave me no choice.
I don't think I can... Oh, did that actually get me?
Nay.
Is it possible to actually cancel that ability? I wonder.
Reincarnation. Forfeit yourself to reincarnation.
Oh my god. I mean, it's good that I got the 200% defense increase, because holy moly. The way I've been playing has been a bit sloppier than usual.
Not bad, I suppose.
Okay, so again, I think the plan here is to just go after any question tiles that I come across, and then head straight to the boss. So we'll take a look at the map once we've worked our way through these enemies.
The true power of the king.
Good, good, good. I was looking at that mask actually. It kind of reminds me of the mask that they wore in Elden Ring. Like the, I don't know, were they the nobles? The sanguine nobles and stuff? Vare was following Moog. All that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is actually quite convenient. Seems like a very easy, straight path, essentially. And also we'll have to walk by the shop as well, which is good. Just so we can potentially pick stuff up. Very good, very good. Always a little weird to me when the red goes in there, but that's fine.
Not bad, I suppose.
The amount of mouse daggers that have come up. If I set your amends for the daggers to the shurikens, then we would have been done long ago.
Let's go.
But yeah, White Mask Barret. That's what these dudes remind me of. Very good, very good.
Not bad, I suppose.
I suppose. Finally! And you know what? This finishes off his, So now those are fully upgraded. Passives, it looks like the only one I need to get is,
Now.
the, what's it called? The Gust one. Oh, God, this is her. like on the poorer side, isn't she? So I think I gave her some kind of like working class. But then again, it's not Cockney. She doesn't sound Cockney. I'll just say hello again. Ready to bust ourselves out of here?
Death to the masters.
Death to the masters.
Death to the masters.
Okay, I don't exactly remember what she does. Is it just extra damage output? It probably is. Tentacle. Hanging out. Where? There we go.
Another one bites the dust.
Oh my god, these tentacles. A joke crossed my mind. I was like, no, I'm not going to say
bad,
that.
I suppose.
You guys can probably guess what the joke would have been in anywhere.
Now
Okay, mini
for
Cthulhu.
your
We'll take that.
rampage.
Not bad,
I presume the
suppose.
usual. Yeah. Ah, bloody hell!
Not bad, I suppose.
Whatever. Whatever. It's just a bonus anyway. I got 4 perfects and then missed. Now, part of that might have been because I was trying to focus on the perfects, but
Let's go.
because I actually don't know do perfects like
Let's go.
matter
Pick
at
your
all.
poison, fellas. Use it or lose it,
Buy one
pal.
of those. Nah, none of those other ones.
Now
You know, I'll take another black heart at least.
rampage.
That'll be good resources to have.
Finished already?
Another one bites the dust.
Not
Another one
bad,
bites the
I
dust.
suppose.
To be honest, I don't really know many songs in general. Here we go, very nice. I'm terrible with music. I only know references to that one. What that actually makes me think of is, did any of you guys ever see,
Let's go.
it was the Jacksepticeye videos with Eevee. And there's one part of it where he's singing that song with her. Another one bites the dust. And then she says at one point, another one rides the bus.
Everlasting.
It's like, what? Is that like the elderly version? Another one rides the bus. Which is funny. So random as well. Okay, things are getting a little hectic now.
Not bad, I suppose.
I wonder how many gaps now I'm leaving in terms of talking.
Let's go.
I'm sorry about that, folks, but again, as I've explained multiple times, I'm pretty tired. Oh, she's the one throwing. I saw that a moment ago and I was wondering about that. It's like the firecracker girl in Great Ace Attorney. Anyone who's played that will know about the firecracker girl, I think. That was like a really weak grab attack. Used to them being much worse in Dark Souls. Okay, you know what? If you could stop that, let me switch. Let's clear out some of these tentacles. Pretty decent damage, I would say.
Another one bites the dust.
Okay. There we go, finally. As usual, he gets himself cut in half.
Not bad, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So we're back to the core now. So yeah, anyone who lives in a country where they practice daylight saving time, like, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you think about it, you know? Just curious myself.
Finished already?
Another one bites the dust.
Finished already?
Another one bites the dust.
Up to 100?
Not bad, I
To be
suppose.
fair, we've gotten quite a few organs this time. I can't remember what we ended on last time. And I could probably just check, couldn't I? But it doesn't really matter. Point is, we've got 290 ordinary ones and we've got 20 golden ones. It's not bad. The shop always in the... yeah, always seems to be there in that spot.
Now for a little rampage.
Oh my god.
Every last hypocrite will burn.
Get out of the way.
Not bad, I suppose.
As usual, we'll keep recycling for the moment. Literally, the only thing I can get now to upgrade is the wind, the whirlwind.
Now
Which I can't get
for a
from this one.
rampage.
There's a lot going on here now.
Again.
I presume that's a big advantage of her ability, as well as his. Oh, the fact that you can move around with it as well.
Finished already?
Bites the dust.
Not bad, I suppose.
Nothing.
Let's go. Pick your poison, fellas.
One extra stage reward. Reroll. Well, we'll buy one of these.
Use it or lose it, pal.
Hell yeah. We needed that so badly.
You're around, pal. Now for a little rampage.
Another one bites the dust.
Not bad, I suppose.
I don't know what happened there. I guess maybe the joystick was like slightly up. I was not doing that, I can tell you that for a fact. Oh, I missed a few. I'm so taken back by that. I missed a few organs.
Let's go.
Well, what can you do? But yeah, there must have been the joystick must have been ever so slightly like up, so that was still happening. Very weird.
Another one bites the dust.
Well,
Oh my god. Let's activate our ability. There's an awful lot going on here.
Another one bites the dust.
Put you down. Very good. Okay, let's not make the same mistake as last time. Let's actually look around and see, can we find any like organs or entrails? Like that one, for instance. So that's good. And we got a black heart, so that's also really good. We have 5 of them. I think we need at least 3 for something. Possibly 2 for something else, so that's really good that we have 5 then. Now, is this the same dot like as before? Okay, blaze through the first phase.
Never stop fighting for my family.
Very good, very good. Okay, here we go.
I will obliterate your plans. No escape.
I'm tempted to call this the Dingo Doll stage, just because it kind of reminds me of, in Crash, what was it called? Crash 3 Warped. Kind of reminds me of that. When you fought against Dingo Doll. Okay, where... Oh. Yeah, that's awesome how we can just, like, attack from a distance. Where are the... Okay, here we go. There we go, beat her. Okay, so finally, let's see what happens now.
Not bad, I suppose.
Because we've asked all the questions we want to at this point. Are we going on to the final stage then? Mom, can you hear me?
Laser Faust.
Hellhounders, you know the drill. I want that eyesore in pieces.
Mom, hurry. Mom? I tried my best, but I can't figure out how I got back into Micklin. Patricia, it seems my body can't sustain itself much longer. Remember, sweetheart, the memory is inside you. Just listen to your heart. Why can't I remember?
Maximale Beladung.
Oh,
It's over.
wow.
Oh?
Oh? It is finally beginning to crack.
Surprise!
Huff. What I tell you? My scepter's fulminating rage knows no bounds. Oh, they actually broke it? Damn it, they're over there kicking ASS, and I can't get hold of one measly memory. Wait, did I just remember something? Until now I was totally alone. No friends, no idea who I even was. I fought all alone, desperate to protect myself from anyone who tried to use me, change me, or destroy me. But then I finally found my way back here. I met strangers who, for the very first time, thought I was special just the way I was. Oh jeez, I think I'm going to cry. Patricia, you can't truly believe those killers are your friends. I'm not trying to say everything they've done was good, but Mom, you understand what I'm talking about, don't you? They were panicking too in their own ways. Oh, Patricia, I'm fading. I'll always love you, Patricia.
Wait!
Mom? Wait, hold on. Hey!
Alright, that's it.
Mom? What is with this timing?
We finally destroyed the seal. We can't lose now. Everyone get behind Clara.
Just focus on your memories, Clara. You can leave the rest to us. We are counting on you, waif. Do not let us down again. Clara, I know you can do it.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys. Here goes. So let's see what happens now. Surely we're onto the final stage now. I remember everything. The bombing was so scary. All I could think about was surviving, running as far away from the explosion as I could. That awakened my true power. I broke through the barriers of time and space and removed my entire body from our very world. I swam through the vortex that exists between worlds, slipping into different dimensions, where time flowed in weird ways as I looked for my mom. Ruined worlds devoid of life, worlds that contain grotesque creatures thirsty for violence, worlds controlled by cold, callous entities. I visited them all, but never found Mom or Micklin. I had to sacrifice memories and power to each time I entered a new world and started over. But then after what must have been over a decade, I finally found my way home.
Seems like you got all your strength back. About time, Clara. I knew you had in you.
such a long journey. Painful, lonely, and heartbreaking. But now it's over.
Woohoo!
The real me is back. Alright, Hellhounders. Time to make our escape. Is this the voice up above? Escape?
Foolishness.
Here we go. Sabnak. So, he foolishness. It was kind of like that. Foolish fleshlings who fail to uphold their vows. Escaping. Thy childish fantasies end here, humans. Sabnak?
Finally got the nerve to get up off your asses, huh? Who knew demons were so lazy?
What dost thou speak of? If I may, Marquis, use the temptation of further power to lure us into signing a pact we could never actually fulfill, yes? Then you disguised yourself and waited until the Grey Witch and her cohorts were desperate enough to sign a similar pact. So that our two factions would destroy each other, allowing you to harvest their juicy vengeful souls, without ever having to lift a finger. Did that sum it up? Whoa, seriously? Did you all figure it out but me?
Of course, Mad Faker. No matter the tale, whenever a devil proposes an enticing deal, there's always a heinous catch.
It is basic business. Never sign a contract without considering how your partner might benefit from betraying you, or vice versa.
How very human.
Thine arrogance is certainly
Puissant. But if thou hast truly to do so much, then surely my word shall come as no surprise.
It does not matter what happens now. Thy souls already belong to me. Both thou and the Celestial Rainbow signed a blood pact that hath been neglected and broken, and so I am descended to claim what I am owed.
Alright, that's it.
How deluded are you? First you tricked my mom, and now you think we're gonna let you take her souls?
Trick? No. I presented her with a choice. Humans always allowed their greed to push their eyes away from the truth, unveiling the ugliness of humans who cloak themselves with justice and egotism is my life work. Hey, demon, you're forgetting something.
Oh? What might that be?
Do you really think we ever wasted a second worrying about that stupid pact of yours?
A no mundane human may be able to stand up to you. We are far from mundane, but the Hellhound does. If you were truly beautiful enough, if you were truly powerful enough to snatch your souls on a whim, then you would have had no need for such petty subterfuge and chicanery.
Be you a god or a demon, we have no qualms relieving you of your life if push comes to shove.
Wait, you mean you plan to take the power and kill me from the start?
Of course, we're villains, you idiot.
Conceited little fleshlings. Yes, this is the true essence of humanity. Naught but ignorance, irresponsibility, and selfishness, deserving of nothing but death.
Alright, that's it.
Holy, will you shut the hell up? You think we care about your silly standards? Promises made to be broken, especially when one side's been hiding something. I've been tricked, kicked, drugged, drowned, and disowned on my way to where I am now. There's one thing I've learned for sure. Everyone's responsible, everyone's selfish, everyone's bad. Promises, bargains, justice, duty, responsibility, logic, good, evil. They're all just rationalizations people make up so they can pretend to have some moral compass in getting what they want. In all that mess, the only people who I can really trust are my family. People who think I'm actually worth spending time with. Allies, comrades, call it whatever you want. They're the kind of people whose demands you don't mind entertaining every now and then. And I know that as long as I'm with my family, I'll be able to change this rotten world once and for all.
Such foolishness.
From
Family? How farcical.
So it shall be.
I can easily drag thy souls into hell with so much as a flick of my finger. And there, deep within the inferno, you will learn how weak thy familial bonds truly are. This is the final level, is it? Huh?
where are we now?
Hell itself out, Uzu. Well, there's a first time for everything, I suppose. Oh, what a thrill. Have no fear, comrades. This is just a bad dream, right?
Wait, look over there.
Prepare
Prepare yourselves, humans, and behold as I devour thy souls.
Hang on, so this is a fight, is it? Here we go. Okay, good damage, good damage. Whoa. Okay, blaze through the first phase. Okay, so now we gotta take these guys down, presumably. Okay, so he took you down pretty easily. Very good, very good. Crap. Shoot. Huge damage. Oh, God, I'm stunned. There we go. Oh God, okay, hang on. You know, this really reminds me of, I don't want to say too much, but him getting off the horse and attacking at the same time really reminds me of something from Shadow of the Earth. I think people will know, if you've played that game, which boss I'm referring to. Okay, where is he? There he is. Oh my God. There we go.
Not bad, I suppose.
What's going on? Oh, here we go. Talk. Come on.
No.
What's wrong, demon? Is that all you got?
This cannot be. Meager humans could not possibly. You see, there is your mistake. We are neither meager nor human. For example, that one there is more robot than man, while I am delightfully undead. Ah, this does not bode well. Wait, seriously? Is he trying to run? Ah, what a shame, Marquis. It would appear that demons never learn.
You tried to deceive and entrap us, and you think we're going to let you escape with your life, you miserable wretch. Not to mention, we have Clara on our side. How could we ever lose to some deranged horse-lined manticore with maggots pouring out of it?
Yes, of course. How could I have missed it before? All the creases in my scenario lead back to you, Patricia. Just what are you? No ordinary human could ever absorb all of Miquelin's power and survive. Oh, you think all this power's just come from Miquelin? What's much more than that? I only made it this far thanks to everyone's help.
And all their strength still burns inside me. This is I think it's called Nakama in Japanese media. The power of friendship.
I still don't even know what I'm fully capable of. So what you say, Sadnak? Want to try one of my blasts for size? I'm a villain too, so don't expect any mercy. Wait.
Well,
Wait. The Hellhound's pain? The Celestial Rainbow's pain? My pain? Wait. Take this and go to hell. Grah! Well, that's the end of him.
We did it! That means Mom should be free now, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, how about we engage in a little reconnaissance of hell? You know, it's a small celebration of our victory. Wait, Doctor. The mission was to return to our original world, not gallivant through the many circles of the underworld.
Also, I believe we're all nearing exhaustion down here. I just hope there's a safe way for us to get back up.
Don't worry, Axeman. Now that I remembered how I got back to Mictlan, I'm pretty sure I can just hop back into the dimensional vortex and take us all home. Everyone grab on. We're escaping for real this time. We were pulled down from above, right? I'm pretty sure this is the right way. Clara, did you lose your memories again? No, I think I finally managed to activate my powers without sacrificing any for the very first time, actually. That's a long sentence. I'm just, not sure if this is the right way.
You mean you're lost?
No, I'm just not sure which way to go yet.
Well, that's sort of the very definition.
Now is not the time for silly jokes. I refuse to spend the next decade attempting to navigate this muck. Please, Clara. I'm not sure these bones could survive another decade lost in this maze. Hey, I don't want to get lost in here either, okay? Don't worry, I promise I'll find a way back.
Just relax. You can do this, Clara.
I wonder who this is. Ha ha ha. No, she cannot. Oh, Sabnak? Thou may have robbed me of mine flesh, but mine soul persists. The dignitaries of hell will not turn a blind eye to such insult. You are now hell's most wanted. We shall chase you to the very end, to the ends of the universe. You will never know peace again. Whoa, whoa! There's a horde of them coming for us. What should we do?
Good. I can't move.
Yes, without Clara's power to protect us, I imagine we'll probably be swallowed into this dimensional vortex. We're completely at our mercy now.
What?
We are what? Well, what are we waiting for, child? Hurry up and get us out of here now. Okay, I'm going as fast as I can. Just try to hold on a little bit longer. Dear, Clara, what's wrong? Your aura is starting to vacillate. I'm trying my best, but my head feels kinda...
Did she just start snoring?
No.
We went through all of that.
Just to die here?
Iron Maiden!
That arrogant voice.
Wicker Man!
What are they doing here?
Forfeit yourself to reincarnation.
They came to help us?
Okay, God. I think he sounded quite fancy.
Hi there.
Good thing there's a talented tentacled individual like myself on this side. humans? Open the gate for you. So hurry up and get your A's inside. As much as I hate to say it, you've earned my gratitude, Tempty. To be fair, I failed to notice when Patricia first found her way back into Midland. After all the pain and death she caused me, I was unable to catch that unusual aura of hers the moment it passed by our realm.
Did I say unable or did I say able? I actually can't remember.
Patricia, we're all free from the evil thanks to you. Now hurry, take my hand. Well, about that, Clara's sort of fallen asleep. What? Yippee. That's really swell, Mommy. No, Patricia, you need to wake up and take my hand right now. I didn't want it to have to come to this.
servants, I summon thee.
Prepare yourself for the mad faker's olfactorily offensive smelling salts. Yeah!
You gotta love doing that voice.
Blah. Oh my gross, what the hell is that?
Ugh, Mad Faker, what did you put in that bottle?
Cry.
A phantasmal cocktail of essences extracted from the weak old socks of every last hellhounder, mixed with a healthy helping of ammonia.
All right, that's it.
What's wrong with you? I'm awake, just close that thing up. Whew. Alright, that was really unpleasant, but let's get out of here already.
With the Hellhounder's safety cloaked in her aura, Clara leapt forward and clasped her mother's hand.
Patricia!
Mom! Did you really defeat that demon? Heck yeah, I did. I didn't do it alone either. But I gotta ask, what's happening to this place?
So sad.
Okay, her voice. Oh god.
Since you absorbed all of its power, Micklin has become highly unstable. We're right in the middle of evacuating all the prisoners right now.
Yeah, you went on a rampage spanning dimensions, then fell asleep right at the last moment. See what happens when you raise them spoiled, Ennis?
Absurd.
Stay thy tongue, Void. I will permit no manner of disrespect to Lord Lady Grey or her daughter.
Lady Grey, every last prisoner has been evacuated, leaving only us here in the core. But how shall we deal with these insolent terrorists?
Hey, knock it off, Uncle Isaac. I never would have gotten this far without the Hellhounders. They're allowed to come with us, right, Mom?
Well, Grey Witch, what's it gonna be? You gonna let us through that gate? Or are we gonna have to force our way through?
Do not make me repeat myself, Hellhounders. The Celestial Rainbow staunchly opposes the death penalty, but more importantly, I will not hesitate to repay anyone who lent a hand in saving my daughter's life. Now, I think it's time we all went home.
There's everyone.
Woohoo!
Did I see someone on the right that I didn't recognize?
We're finally back.
Yeah, that priest-looking dude. Did I come across that priest-looking dude? Clara and the Hellhounders breathed sighs of relief as they stepped out of the portal. It felt like an eternity had passed since they were first trapped within Micklin. The soft snow continued to fall on the rooftops, and streets were abustle with frantic shoppers looking for their last stocking stuffers on Christmas Eve. Once the Hellhounders had caught their breath and acclimated to their new surroundings, the former prisoners of Micklin embraced them with words of praise, cheer, and admiration regarding their incredible victory. They were free, for now at least, since the astral prison had become uninhabitable, and the Grey Witch could not bring herself to openly harm those who just assisted in her beloved daughter's return. The commotion continued for a short while, until one figure abruptly shoved his way through the crowd and peered down at the young woman. Alright, Clara, enough chatter. It's time to head back to the hideout.
I'm not going back to your hideout.
Excuse me?
Your hideout got warped into Micklin, remember? Oh, she's got a point. Wait, then what'll happen to all our records, or equipment, or books? Right? It'd be a shame to let all that disappear inside Micklin, wouldn't it? Besides, I'm not leaving my mom's side. I finally got her back, and if we're all going to be a family, then you're going to need to learn to share.
Patricia!
What do you mean? I'm going to rebuild Micklin. I can't let your masterpiece go to waste, Mom.
So I have a theory or two about the story of Pennyblood. If this is like... This is a prequel, isn't it? I think it is. I'll have to double check that afterwards, that it's a prequel.
I can't let your masterpiece go to waste, Mom. That way, the Hellhounders can keep on using their hideout too. It'll be the perfect hiding place.
Clara, you can't be serious.
I'm totally serious. But that's not all. We've been trying to change the world, right? I mean, in our own ways. Imagine the incredible things we could do if we all worked together. I want to see what we're all really capable of. So this time, I'm going to be the selfish one, and you're all going to have to deal with my demands. The past doesn't matter. The only thing that's important now is what we plan to do from here on out. Isn't that right, Mom?
Patricia!
Poor things.
I find it hard to believe we could accomplish anything from partnering up with those who have no respect for life.
Seriously? What were you thinking bringing these jokers back, Patricia? You should have left them in hell, where they belong.
Big talk coming from those who became our personal punching bags.
Rotten scoundrels!
You take that back, you conniving little...
Hey, no more fighting. I'm not going to let my family kill each other ever again. Got it?
Clara, you're serious about this, aren't you?
Of course I am. The Hellhounders never abandon their family, right? Oof, she got you there, Sariel. Well then, shall I begin drafting up a contract that outlines the terms of our ceasefire? Or, considering all that's just transpired, would that be putting the cart too far in front of the proverbial horse, so to speak? Hehehe.
The censor that the Doctor's comment summoned was only the first drip of the torrential discourse that would soon ensue. Despite their shared desperation to cure the world's various malices, neither the Hellhounders nor the Celestial Rainbow saw any sense in working together. But Clara never backed down. Much like water against a stone, their rigid exteriors gradually broke down over time. That's not to say it was all smooth sailing. The conflicting ideals between the Hellhounders and the Celestial Rainbow would continue to cause strife. And the powers of the Inferno, outraged by the defeat of Sapnak, continued to seek the souls they had been promised. Arguments and adventure were abound in Clara's future as the new Master of the Mictlan. Far too many to contain in just one book, and alas, my mind grows weary. I would like to thank you for accompanying me thus far, intrepid reader, and hope the tales of Clara and her brethren have filled your heart with vigour and mirth. Until we meet again, may you find warmth in the darkness. Penned by the Axeman on April 20th, 1922, beneath a large blooming cherry blossom tree in a secluded temple courtyard. There we go, escaped from hell. Just got the achievement. And this is where I'm going to let the credits roll, finally. I've been skipping the credits up to this point, but now I believe that was like the proper ending of the game. So I'm going to let this run through and talk about my thoughts on the game. So overall, I did enjoy it. Now, I will say first off, I'm not super familiar with these types of action roguelikes. So I don't usually play them. Obviously, I've heard loads and loads of things about Hades. That's kind of like the big one. But I've heard about a few other ones. So I'm not super familiar with, you know, these like the kind of micro structures of them. I kind of know the macro structure, but not so much the micro about it. And like I did enjoy developing or the characters, getting new abilities, picking out the abilities as I go through. Of course, near the end I really did end up just going kind of with the Deadly Rain. That just seemed like the best ability to me. It's kind of hard for me to imagine a better ability. Now I will say that I think the last section of the game got a bit repetitive due to the fact that you have to do 4 runs to you have to do a run each time for a single question, and then you have to do a final run to get to the boss. And I think, with regards to the variety, again, we're talking about the microstructure of this in terms of roguelikes. I'm not super familiar with the type of variety that would be offered in something like Hades. There was, for instance, it's the same boss at the end of each overall stage. And there you get a couple of different like arenas and enemy types and stuff during like the actual progress across the board, which I thought the board was cool, really cool idea. But I do think there could have been a bit more variety to like the little situations, you know, like a couple of different types of missions, a couple of different types of panels. So I do think there could have been some greater variety to the microstructure of it, but it was still fun. At the beginning, I think it was a bit strange structurally how they structured it in a way that like you had to die several times for various mechanics to get unlocked. I kind of would have preferred if they kind of unlocked a lot of them much quicker. But yeah, in terms of the characters, you know, they're potentially interesting. But because so much of the game is structured in like a roguelike fashion, it means that we don't see that much of their personality. But we got, you know, a nice little taster of their personality, I would say. And in terms of, why is there an 8 down there? I just saw the second one. I'm not 100%. But anyway, what was I saying? With regards to how this will be structured into the main game in the future, I have a theory. If this is a prequel, I have a theory on how that would work. I liked the graphical style a lot. Now, again, in terms of like enemies and stuff, there could have been a greater variety of them. But like in terms of like, I always love it in a lot of like artwork where you have the like the heavy shadows, as in like it's just pitch black, like there's no soft shadows at all. Like I always think that's so cool stylistically, and they had a bunch of that in this game, so that was really cool. Really liked that. I thought the chibi characters were nicely designed as well. The music was catchy. Don't know if I would say that it was like particularly amazing, but it was catchy enough. Maybe you could have done with a couple of more tracks just to lend a bit of greater variety to those runs, but still pretty good overall. What little voice acting there was seemed fine. I had a good time with it overall, I would say. But I also suspect that, you know, this isn't necessarily the best of what the genre has to offer. And if I ever get around to playing Hades, I'll probably be able to make a much better comparison then. But yeah, it was good overall. And definitely tough enough that I think this would be a good one to put into the list for Victory Cheap Gaming. So that's good. Now, in terms of... I'm just curious to see, like, will this have unlocked...
Welcome.
No, it didn't unlock hard.
Okay.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, so I can go over this stuff in my own time. I'll see, like, if I want to try to get all of the achievements or if I'm just going to decide to leave it. But I'll keep that off stream because, as I said, I think this is the 9th session. And I've done the main game now. So, actually, I better save before anything else. One more time. There we go. So yeah, that was Penny Blood Hellbound. Let me just head back to the title screen. Fun enough game, and of course, as usual, I'm curious to see what the main game will be like. I don't know when that'll be released. They have no idea themselves, it seems, at this point. But you know, it was neat playing this. Yeah, so of course, next week, just to say, folks, I'm going to be filming something on Saturday. So the next stream is going to be... That's how tired I am, folks. Today's Sunday. That means I should be able to stream no problem next Sunday. But anyway. Point, anyway, is that it's going to be a different game next week. And I'll have to take a look at my, my list of games and see which one I want to try playing on stream. But hopefully you folks have enjoyed watching me play Penny Blood Hellbound. I do think it's interesting. This is actually one of the better performing series that I have on YouTube. Still doesn't compare, I think, to either Lunacid or those Dark Souls videos that I did for Immortallium Gaming. But this is definitely actually up there in terms of like viewership and watch time and all that jazz. So that's good. I'm glad to see that. It probably helps that there's probably not that many videos of this game in the first place. So if people are looking for this game, they're probably going to find me pretty quickly. So yeah, thank you very much, folks, for watching. Now, if you want to check out the VODs, of course, you can go to Immortallium Gaming, that's the channel just mentioned. All my VODs, all my streams go up there. So definitely go check that out if you want to check out some of my content. Also, go ahead and check out Victory Chief Gaming. Victory Chief Gaming is a YouTube channel that I just mentioned a while ago. It's a channel where I help guide a friend through some pretty challenging games. Currently, we're doing Dark Souls Remastered and Puyo Puyo Tetris. So go check that out. And of course, check out UK Anime Network. UK Anime Network is a website that covers a wide variety of content. We're talking anime, manga, video games, live action films, toys, etc., etc. And we're covering some pretty interesting content on there right now, so definitely go check that out. Anyway, with that all being said and done, this has been Owen, also known as Immortallium, and I will talk to you guys next week. So until then, have a good one.